Hi there folks, and a very warm welcome to Macro May.
Macro May?
Macro month.
Macro madness. Macro madness.
Macro mayhem.
Mayhem. Macro, I like that. Macro mayhem. Maybe we should have worked this out before we started this presentation.
Macromania?
Macromania is another good one.
Macro man?
Well, yeah, I would be if I come off this box.
Oh yeah, of course,
exactly.
yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay,
but yeah.
Now we'll go with Macro May.
We'll go with Macro May.
Brilliant.
1st of May today.
Yeah.
This is Macro Month at Sigma. We're going to be doing a social media takeover for the whole of May.
Brilliant.
Nothing but macro images.
Brilliant.
And we've got a macro promotion on our 3 macro lenses. So stay tuned, we'll tell you all about it.
Brilliant. Hey, we couldn't ask for more than that, could you? We've got 3 fantastic macro lenses, which we're just going to quickly highlight for you. One you'll be really familiar with, I'm sure already, as we are, because it's been out for so long now, but there's no reason why it shouldn't be, because it's been massively successful, and that's the 105EX.
Yeah.
Very much a benchmark lens. It's been out there for so long, and it's the fallback macro lens for so many people. Available for Canon and Nikon Fit, DSLR, a 105 1:1 life-size macro, which all of these are. They're all 1:1, aren't they?
Yeah,
we'll come to that, I think, in a bit more detail shortly. But yeah, so 105EX macro, f2.8, currently in the high street around 359, which is unbelievable anyhow. But there could be some more savings off of that, but we'll come to that. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Macro May.
Yeah.
So yeah, 105 f2.8, and that has image stabilizer. We'll touch on some of the features, because you may well be familiar, because say it's been out for so long, but that's got an image stabilizer, isn't it? Because it is an original
that's right.
DSLR lens.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I mean DSLRs didn't tend to have, I don't know whether any of them actually had inbuilt image stabilization on the sensor. So it's more important to have it on the lens. So that's got image stabilization, whereas the new mirrorless version, which is the 105, also f2.8, which is designed from the ground up for mirrorless, doesn't have image stabilization. One of the reasons they left it off was because they were able to get the lens much smaller and lighter, but if you're using it on, say a Sony body, for example, that has inbuilt image stabilization on the sensor, so you don't need it on the lens. So, but that does have an aperture ring, whereas that one doesn't. So you get that.
Exactly. And as Tim said, this is built from the ground up for mirrorless full frame.
Yes.
So this is the equivalent of this lens, but available for Sony E mount and L mount. So a Leica user, Panasonic user, or of course a Sony user. And this has the added features, you say, of an aperture ring, and also added to that, which you'll find on some of our other DGDN lenses, our built from the ground up mirrorless products. You can declip the aperture ring as well.
Yes. Yeah, really nice feature. So So the aperture ring's nice, because it means you can change aperture with the hand that's holding the lens, rather than using the dial on the back of the camera. But one extra feature this has got is that the aperture ring can, normally they click, they go but this one does, but you can turn the click off as well. So if you just want a smooth aperture ring, so that, for example, if you're shooting video, you can change the size of the aperture in the lens without going in steps, which means you get a very nice smooth
nice feature, really nice feature.
Change between them.
And again, look out for that on some of our other DGDN lenses that we launch as well. It's becoming kind of a feature of those products these days. So that's on there, which is brilliant. So again, 1:1 life size. We'll touch on that in a second, but that's the 105 DGDN. And then we also have, if you don't want a 105 focal length, then we have the equivalent as well, DG product, this one, which is, so that's for your, you can put this on a Canon DSLR, Sony E camera, and L mount for Leica and for our own FPs, etc. as well. Panasonic. And it's an art series lens, but this is a 70mm.
Yes.
So a shorter focal length than obviously this being at 105. So with this one, you can get in, you'll be into the subject a bit closer, wouldn't you?
That's right. Yeah, it's still 1:1, so you still get the same magnification on the subject, but as you say, because the focal length's a little wider, you just get to move closer. Horses for courses. Some people prefer the longer focal length. Some prefer this. One advantage of this one is that it's quite good for portraits, because it's quite a little bit closer to the 85mm classic portrait lens. So if you want to double up the lens for portraits, the 70 might be slightly better. The advantage of the 105 for me is that is that because you're further away, to get the same magnification, you're further away from the subject. You never seem to get in your own light. So if the sun's behind you, you don't get in your own shadow, which is a bit of a benefit. But but both really nice lenses for what you know.
Good.
Yeah.
And as with all of these lenses as well, as you find commonly on a macro lens, you've got full limit control as well. So you can reduce how much of the lens is actually focusing. So if you're not going to be using it on a subject which is beyond infinity, etc., then you can reduce the limit control back there so that it's not ever going to try and hunt to that position. It's only going to be using its focusing within a given range.
Yes.
So that's a feature on all three, very common on a macro lens. But we keep talking about 1:1 life size.
Yes.
And I believe you've been out and about.
Yes, that's right. So I took the 105 DGDN and I put this on a Sony camera and I just tried to, I'm going to try and tell you why that 1:1 magnification ratio is so important.
Let's take a look. I might learn something as well, so I'm looking forward to this.
If you're thinking about getting into macro photography and maybe are in the market for a macro lens, then it's really important to understand the term magnification ratio. Now, all three macro lenses in the Sigma lineup have that all-important 1:1 magnification ratio. But what does it actually mean? Well, it describes the relationship between the size of an object in real life compared with the size of that object when it's been projected onto the camera's sensor. So let's bring up two objects on screen. The first one is a flower. This is, let's say, 20 millimeters across. And the second one is a full frame sensor. And these two objects are displayed to scale. If you take a picture of this flower on a macro lens with a 1:1 magnification ratio and you shoot it at the closest the lens will focus, then the flower will appear at exactly the same size on the sensor as it is in real life. Now, our 24-70 standard zoom, which is well known to have quite a close focusing distance, has a magnification ratio of 1 to 2.9. So in other words, the flower should appear roughly 3 times smaller on the sensor than it is in real life. So let's go and take a couple of photos and see if that really does check out in practice. Okay, so I found this little patch of bluebells and I'm going to start with the 24-70 DGDN. Now, as I mentioned, this has a magnification ratio of 1 to 2.9, and that is at the wide end of the zoom range. So this is at 24mm, and you have to get pretty close up to the subject. And I can focus around about there. Let's try a shot. Okay, so that's a nice close-up, plenty of detail in the flower. I'm happy with that. Okay, and next up, it's the 105 f2.8 DGDN macro. So remember, this has a magnification ratio of 1:1. Let's give it a go. So as you can see, I've been able to get much closer up to the subject with much more magnification and much more detail. So there you go. If you want to get up close and personal with your subject and capture all of that amazing detail, then a dedicated macro lens with a 1:1 magnification ratio is the way to go.
That's the back of the lens. That's where it attaches to the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Let me
got that?
Yeah,
got all
got
that?
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Tim.
Go down. Yeah. No worries.
Brilliant. Thanks. Great.
So
well, excellent. Well,
yeah.
Great.
Enjoy that. Enjoy that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Yeah.
So no, brilliant. I hope everyone learnt something from that. It's not easy to learn something from Tim, but
no.
You know, as I'm finding out. But no, brilliant job. Thanks for doing that, Tim. It's really good. And,
no worries. Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. It shows just how you can use these lenses in that kind of environment, and which is what they're designed for. But of course, use them for any other. Great as portrait lenses as well, of course. But obviously, we're talking today about macrame.
Macrame.
Yeah. And as we touched on at the very beginning, there are some savings to be had as well in May on these lenses as well. So
come on then, hit us with the savings.
So what you got this lens, our original 105 EX, and if you purchase one of those in May, then with a voucher code that you'll find through all of our retailers that we work with, that there'll be a £30 extra saving off of that one.
Very nice.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we've got here the 105, the DGDM. Again, if you're looking to purchase that through May, then there's a £100 saving via voucher code on that. Fabulous.
Ooh,
so great opportunity
nice.
to invest into one of those.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the 70mm. Then again, on the 70mm, another saving on that. Again, voucher code process. Place your order. get the discount off at the point of purchase, and that's £60 on that one.
Lovely.
Yep.
Lovely, yeah.
So
Brilliant.
some great savings to be had.
Yeah.
On great products as well. And again, as I say, May's a great time to get out there and take macro photography. So
it is. And the voucher codes for those can be found on the retailer website that you choose to buy your lens from.
Yep.
So if you just head to any UK retailer and you'll be able to find the voucher code that will give you the money off that.
Brilliant.
Off those lenses. And because it's Macro May, we're also running a competition, which is great.
Competition as well. We love a competition because again, we're all about product. Is what we do. We provide products that hopefully enhance your photography, and the whole point of that is to see what images you take. So, you know, we love to see the images that get uploaded onto our site, etc., and onto our social media. So we thought, May, great time to run a competition for close-up photography.
Why not? Yeah. So the competition is the theme is close-up. So you don't have to shoot it on a macro lens. You can just shoot it on a kit lens or whatever you've got really. But as long as it fits the brief of close-up, that's acceptable. Obviously, if you've got a macro lens, then use that because you can get super close-up. So it's going to be, you don't have to shoot with a Sigma kit, you can shoot with anything you want. So if you're a Canon user and you've got a Canon lens, that's fine, you shoot it with that, that's no problem at all. And this will start from the 7th of May and run to the 17th of May. So you've got about a week before that gets going. So that will give you a bit of thinking time.
Yeah,
maybe you want to, maybe you want to just do a bit of, I don't know, just try some shots in the garden, or maybe have a look around for locations. Or maybe you haven't got a macro lens and you want to invest in one. Now's a good time because they're on offer, but that'll give you a bit of time to get your order in and get set up with your new lens. So that runs from the 7th to the 17th. You've got a 10-day window. You don't have to take the photo in those 10 days. You could have taken it last year or the year before, it doesn't matter.
We just want to see the images, don't we?
We just want to see the images,
Flood some images into us. Let's take a look. As long as they hit the brief, they'll be considered for the competition. And I assume... Is there some sort of prize?
There is a prize. The prize is the honour of winning, of course, is the main.
It is.
Is the main
Be
prize.
Selected. Definitely.
But also, we're giving away a place on one of our workshops, our one-day workshops. We've got 10 of them this year. They're dotted all around the UK. Some right down in the southwest. We've got some up north. One in Snowdonia, London, so on. They're all over the place. So you can choose whichever one you want. It's a free place, and they're run by our ambassadors. They're really good workshops. They usually about 9 in the morning till sunset, or 10 in the morning till sunset. So they're great workshops.
Get myself on one of these.
Well, you'd have to enter the competition, and you wouldn't win because you're not good enough. But sorry, mate.
Great.
I try and encourage you, but we've got to be realistic about this.
Thanks for your moral support there, Tim.
No, that's all right. I just felt that honesty was the best way of.
I
don't want to get your hopes up.
Okay, so moving on. So easy to enter. We touched on that. Newsletter will be a good idea. Subscribe to our newsletter, and that will provide all the information there that you need to enter the competition, and obviously keep you up to date with everything that we're doing in regards to products, etc. Throughout the year. So.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. It just drops into your inbox loads of Sigma news, Sigma promos, all that kind of stuff. So it's worth doing. We don't bombard you with it's usually one a month. So you're not going to be spammed out.
No.
Into oblivion.
We'd love to see you come on board. So do that. And lastly, something we was talking about before we started to do this today, and I think it's good to remind our consumers and people out there about this initiative that we got running. Well, not an initiative, you wouldn't call it an initiative, would you?
It's like a
what would you call
it's like a little project, I suppose, isn't it? A little pledge,
yeah.
So the project is that we've teamed up with a company out in the States, which is a tree planting company, and for every lens that Sigma UK sells in 2022, we're pledging to plant a tree, and for every time somebody registers their camera or lens for a warranty, for their free extended warranty, we'll plant another one. So it's a really good project. It's a real kind of good news story, and not many of those around at the moment.
No, exactly. I mean, when you first told me of this, I thought it was fabulous, and it's probably the best thing you've done, Tim. To be honest with you,
right?
There's not, I can't think of that many great things you've done, so it's probably up the top there as one of the best. I would say, Tim. Yeah. So it's a brilliant thing. Well done. Brilliant. I think that's amazing. Everything we need to talk about.
I think so.
We are now officially in.
We're in Macro May. Yeah, we're in Macro May. So so look out for the competition on Facebook on the 7th. That runs for 10 days. Look out for these things. The offer on these starts today. So just get onto a retailer website, check out. I'm sure they should have stock.
Voucher code will be available. Stock should be available. Voucher code available. So place your order. Discount will be applied. between now and the end of May.
Yeah.
So have fun out there. Enjoy taking your photographs. We look forward to seeing them. Really look forward to that.
Yeah.
And take care. Enjoy May.
See you soon.
Yeah. Cheerio.